Oh my gosh, I have so many stories about my childhood. Oh, but I have one that I don't know if I should share because it's actually no, I can share it. It's the reason why I use a VTuber model most of the time. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if you pop in every now and again. It'd be nice, for old time's sake. But yeah, I have a nasty scar on my face from being headbutted in the face, right in the mouth, by a dog. I will let you know. I'm affectionate with animals, all kinds. No, no, he didn't mean it, and you'll know what I mean when I go through this story. Okay, so get out your popcorn, because it's a doozy. Alright, so, me, younger, I think I was about 18 at the time, maybe 20 something. So this was quite a while ago. I've had this for a while. I for all my life, I've loved animals no matter what. There's the popcorn. Yep, you got it. So, I will hug and kiss any animal I can meet. Or not bugs. Not bugs, though. Not bugs. I cannot do bugs. Cannot stand them. Alright. He is passed. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. But yeah. Unfortunately, the dog that did this, that I did this to, because it was actually my fault. He he he's sadly no longer of this plane. The dog's name was Hagrid, and no, it is not a relation to Harry Potter. I asked that myself. So, he was a very energetic dog. I went on a visit to see my dad back when Hagrid the dog was still alive. And as I said, he was very energetic back then, and still was to the day he went. I don't remember what he went, what the cause was, but he is no longer of this plane of existence. Unfortunately, he was a good boy. The moment I walked through that front door, and he saw me, he did his usual reaction, which was going ballistic. He would jump around, not on people, but he would jump around as if to be saying, oh my gosh, there's people here. They're going to pet me. They're going to love me. They're going to feed me. They're going to do all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. Very loving dog. Very energetic. And the moment I saw that, yes, very. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to wait for him to calm down before I pet him. And I did. Took 10 minutes, but I did. He did not calm down very easily. No. So, after he calmed down, he was lying on the floor. I was upstairs with him. And I went over. I'm sitting next to him. I'm petting him, right? But I'm not in front of him. No, I'm on his side. Like behind him on the side. Nope. So what happened was... So... I went to lean down and give him a hug. and a kiss on the top of the head. But like I said, I wasn't in front of him. So the moment my face was near his head, and the moment I went to hug him, he freaked out. So his head flies into my face, okay, and cut completely open from the corner of my right lip to the middle of that cheek. It ripped open. Yeah. And again, this is something I don't mind saying because it was in the heat of the moment. I didn't know that this would come out. Yeah, I didn't know this would come out, but I screamed like a little girl. Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. That's the one I'm going to do. But both hands flew to my mouth. All right? They flew to my mouth and covered my mouth. I put my left hand down. Barely any blood. I thought I would be fine. The scream was after I put my right hand down, which was covered. So, after I screamed, I ran to the bathroom and looked in the mirror, which was a bad idea. Because what I saw traumatized me. I'm literally shaking right now. But I don't mind talking about it. It's not a trigger. It's just, it freaked me out. When I looked in the mirror is when I saw the rip in my face. All I could think of was, how the frick am I going to explain this? I didn't have to. Because I had already screamed. And my stepmother was the first one to show up. And she's like, why did you scream so loud? It wasn't his fault. It was mine. So she came up, and the minute after she said that and saw my face, as in the cut, the rip in my face, she had the widest eyes I have ever seen. They literally bugged out. And she goes, wait there. And she came back. Yep. She came back with a bag of ice and a cloth and told me to put that on there. Finally, my father comes up, asks the same question she did. Thank you. And she's like, what is going on up here? And she was like, show him. And I did. And his eyes did the same thing. He goes, okay, get your shoes on. We're going to the hospital. Now, I kid you not. Yeah. I kid you not, though. Yeah. The trip to this hospital took 15 minutes. And every waiting time was 15 minutes. I kid you not. It took about 45 minutes to an hour, I think, before the stitches started. Drive there 15 minutes. I sign in. They say go to the waiting room. 15 minutes later, they pull me in. So they pull me in to get my medical information. Send me back to the waiting room. 15 minutes later. Okay, we've got you a room. Come on in. So then they bring me into the room. And they get I think it was the nurse to come in to administer the numbing medication. Now, this is the first time this has ever happened to me where I needed stitches. I had no idea the needle that they use goes in the wound. I have a slight phobia of needles. So the moment I saw that needle, that enormous numbing needle, needless to say, I freaked out. I didn't, fight the doctor eventually I complied with getting the numbing medication done. And after a while, it did numb the wound enough to not feel anything. They said, okay, wait here for the numbing to take full effect while we go get the plastic surgeon. Now, mind you, plastic surgery means there shouldn't be a scar, and I will get to why there's a scar at the end of the story. Alright. So 15 minutes, like I said, every single waiting, 15. Actually, after 15 minutes, I think that's the 4th waiting time, so, yep, hour of waiting so far. The plastic surgeon came in, so yes, it was 15 minutes of waiting. But plastic surgeon finally came in, and he's like, okay, so let's see what we're dealing with. So I showed him, because I had it covered, so that it wouldn't bleed everywhere. And he's like, whoa, that's a... So I showed him, and he's like, wow, that's a doozy. And he gets out the needle for sewing me up. I ended up with 30 stitches. 15 on the inside, 15 on the outside. It was not fun, and mostly because 15 stitches in, and I hope this never happens to anyone who needs stitches, the medication wore off. I felt a pinch, and I was like, ow! And he knew the medication wore off. So he's like, do you want more? Now, as I have said, it was right in the wound that I had to get the needle, and I have a slight phobia of needles. So I was the bravest soul ever. I said, no. I want to get home. Just please finish up. Of course, I didn't say it nicely. No, I had an attitude because I was like, no. No more. He was like, are you sure? Because it is going to hurt. And I said, yes, I am sure. And I regret that decision. Yep, I was. But I regret that decision with all my life. Because I felt like I had traveled back in time to before there was anesthesia. It hurt. A lot. It felt like someone was stabbing me in the face. Oh my gosh, it hurt. Of course, I don't know what that feels like, but I do now. And man. But after that was done, all the stitches were in. Now, he finished up, and he leaned down and said, I want you to know you're the bravest person I've ever had to sew up. And he understood what came next because he's in the business. But I just grumpily said, thanks, can I go home now? And he understood I didn't mean it. So he's like, yes, yes, you can. He handed me some packets of bacitracin. Yep. He handed me some packets of bacitracin to put on the stitches. He said, you got to put these on morning and night. After you run out, you will have to buy more. And best of luck with the healing. I appreciate you being so brave. And sent me on my way. I get home. This is the part that ends the story. The dog, Hagrid, took one look at the stitches the moment I walked through that door and thought that it was his fault because his tail, because he knew something went up, his tail goes between his legs and he starts whimpering. So he knew something happened. Dogs are smart, despite what anyone says. They are very smart creatures and are very good at honing on emotions. And that's why this ends happy, because I went down over to him. I took this experience as a learning experience, not as a be afraid of animals thing, specifically dogs. No, I learned to respect animal boundaries and learn their body language. Otherwise, this will happen again. So I went over, leaned down next to him, and I pet him to reassure him. And I said, you did nothing wrong. This was my fault. And I will never forget his reaction. He perks right back up, tail flips up, starts wagging, and he gives me the biggest I know how you feel now look. And he was nice and happy. He let me pet him more, and we moved on. I still played with him. I'd still hang with him until the day he went. And I loved him with all my heart. And the reason why I now have a scar, and it's a good way to remember him and that lesson, is because I was not so smart with taking care of these stitches. Instead of leaving them alone, I mean, I'd put the bacitracin on to keep it, hydrated and all that, but I would play with them. I'd rub against them with my finger when I wasn't putting bacitracin. I was messing with the stitches, and when it was time for them to come out, they had already mostly came out. Luckily, it healed before then, but now I have this indented scar from the corner of my lip to the middle of my cheek. And that is one of the main reasons that I don't use my real face for streaming and don't want to do a face reveal anyway, because I'm afraid of what people will see. There you go. That is one of the reasons why I am a VTuber. Now take that story and share it with many people. I don't mind.